Welcome to SAT TV News. I'm Alicia George, your presenter. In our top stories, the Venezuelan embassy recognizes International Women's Day. Electric saw used to dismember kidnapped Trinidad businesswoman. More than 120 objects sighted in search for Flight 370. And in sports, Shane Shillingford back in international cricket. Details of these will follow.
The wheel of change is here at SAT. New and exciting rewards just for you. SAT customers, simply pay your bill and get the new Loyalty Plus plan for free. That's 26 channels absolutely free for a limited period. Yes, you heard me, free. And if you do pay your bill, you'll have a chance to win big with SAT TV. Up to $15,000 in prizes are up for grabs. 7-inch tablets, BlackBerry smartphones, food vouchers, and much, much more. Get more from SAT TV, the people's choice. SAT terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Is the opposition United Workers' Party, UWP, sending the wrong signal as it relates to provision of supplementary estimates proposed at Parliament? Well, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit seems to be of the view that the opposition's position on the matter is irrational.
Every government in our history has brought in supplementary estimates to the House. It is a regular thing. But I get the impression, Madam Speaker, that the opposition is saying to the Parliament and saying to the government that even if something happens during the financial year, even if people come to the government for assistance during the financial year, once it is not budgeted for, we should not help and we should not respond.
The Prime Minister said the UWP have highly criticized the public support program, where citizens are said to benefit from non-budgetary inclusions. He says the opposition has accused the Labour Party government of poor planning when they themselves have come directly to him for assistance.
When that very same man, Madam Speaker, that very same man, the leader of the opposition, the member for Salisbury, comes to me now for financial support for his education pursuits. So the rest of Dominica should go to education, but because he's the leader of the opposition, a different rule, a different set of criteria and rules must be set out to him, and therefore he must go directly to the Prime Minister.
Mr. Skerrit further noted that majority of the debatable $1.6 million paid out from the public support program was to assist in meeting medical expenses.
What do I do if I have the ability as the Prime Minister of the country to assist those parents? I don't ask the parents whether you voted for me last election. Neither do I ask you, will you vote for me next election? I don't ask those questions. My focus is to help people who come to me for help genuinely. We do not have all the resources to help everybody at the same time. But I believe as a leader of the country, as a representative of the people, as a servant of the people, I have a duty and a responsibility to first listen to people's concerns.
He hailed the success of the public sector program, noting that it heavily assists persons who are incapable of meeting genuine living expenses. In more news, the Nature Island Literary Festival, NILF, Committee, in collaboration with Dominica Reading Association, DRA, will host a National Reading Challenge initiative for students aged 10 to 15 living in Dominica from April 1st to August 31st, 2014. The National Reading Challenge is a free book of the month club for children and teens. The books to be read for this year's challenge are as follows: April, Abraham's Treasure by Joanne Skerrit. May, Brother Man by Roger Mays. June, Miguel Street by V.S. Nepal. July, Annie John by Jamaica Kincaid. And August, Tija and His Brothers by Derek Walcott.
The goal of the Reading Challenge is to engage students in literacy and literature, but also to encourage them to use digital technology. So we will be featuring a blog where students will write their own reviews of the books that they read at the end of every month. And we will also have a radio show where we will feature students who have participated in the blog and will come and discuss the books once a month at the end of every month. So the goal is to simulate a club reading experience for students all over the country, and we're asking all parents to encourage your students to participate.
The final element will be an essay competition, which will be formally announced in July 2014. The competition will be open to any student who has participated in the Reading Challenge, posting at least one blog entry. The essay competition will ask students to reflect on issues of social change using some of the stories they have read to explain how each of them can make a positive impact on their local and global communities. Winners selected by an independent panel of judges will be announced during the 2014 Nature Island Literary Festival.
It's not just to create an environment where we're telling students you have to read to do well in school, but also you have to read to rely on all your other communication skills. You need reading for all those communication skills. And so we want to encourage students at a very young age, encourage children not to read as a punishment or to read as a sort of exercise that they have to do well in school, but to do it for fun, that you can find experiences in books that you would not otherwise encounter in your daily lives, or something that you might find that sounds very familiar to you. So it is about the whole point of the Reading Challenge is to really encourage students to get excited about reading, not to see it as a chore, not to see it as a task, but to see it as an alternative to some of the other things that they do, like Facebook or maybe watching television, which are all things that they can do in their spare time still. So we're trying to kind of merge all those elements and have them get excited about reading again.
To participate, students must register at the NILF website www.dominicalitfest.com or call 767-225-8998. The first 25 students to register will receive free copies of the books. All the books are available for the Roseau Public Library and Nature Island Literary Festival for loan. Once they have registered, students will be contacted and provided with the reading material. In other stories, in its continued effort to give back to the community, the Lions Club of Dominica on Tuesday, March 25, 2014, made a third and final donation to the victims of the December 24, 2013 trough system, who lost a number of their personal and household items in addition to suffering infrastructural damage.
In total, we would have assisted approximately 30 people, and if I were to put a dollar value to that, we'd be looking at approximately $25,000 EC. And again, I want to say, you take that opportunity to say thank you to the district and the St. Martin Lions Club, who quickly came on board in assisting when the request was made by us for assistance in order that we can assist the people who suffered during that period.
Mr. St. John said this is another way for the club to show how deep the Lions go to assist the members of the public in their time of need. The club assists in a number of areas, including health and education.
And many times we do that even out of our very own pockets as Lions, because we have to depend quite a bit on fundraising activities. And if the fundraising activities are not sufficient to meet whatever project we have decided to undertake, then we as Lions pitch in our own resources to ensure that somebody who is in need and who is in help is able to get that kind of assistance. Our motto is "We care," and we stand firmly by what we believe in, that is caring for our less fortunate brothers and sisters. As you may be aware, we are the largest service organization in the world. Okay, we have 1.3 million members in 294 geographic locations around the world.
Mr. St. John noted interested like-minded persons are welcome to join the club since their membership in Dominica is not as large as it once was. He added it was the club's pleasure to provide assistance to the victims of the trough system.
I would like to thank the Lions Club of Dominica for this little gift they have given me. I call it little, but it's plenty for me because otherwise I wouldn't have that much. Maybe today I have nothing to eat, but thank you so much.
Some of the items donated include pasta, rice, cereal, toiletries, and crackers. On Tuesday, March 25th, the women of Dominica, along with the staff of the Venezuelan embassy, celebrated International Women's Day. Although the day was officially recognized on March 8, 2014, Venezuelan ambassador to Dominica, Mr. Hayden Pirella, says Women's Day is every day, and it is never too late to celebrate. In agreement with this concept, Cuban ambassador to Dominica, Ms. Joana Elena Ramos, highlighted women's significant role in the transformation of Cuban society.
Women and men enjoy equal economic, political, cultural, social, and familial rights. In Cuban society, women play a very important role. In this sense, our leader, I want to quote again our historical leader, Fidel Castro, described the transformation that has been wrought as regards as women as a revolution within the revolution. Those sociopolitical changes achieved by women are unquestionably linked to the Federation of Cuban Women, created in August 1960.
According to Ms. Ramos, Cuban women count for more than 47% of the active labor force, 66% of the technical and professional labor force, 49% of all scientists, and 64% of all university graduates. This, she says, demonstrates the critical role that women play in the current advancement of Cuba. The speeches were followed by performances from the Venezuelan Cuatro group. In other news, Dr. Nadim Shaf, one of the world's leading experts in the essential oils industry, has met with farmers and persons interested in helping to further develop the essential oils industry in Dominica. On Wednesday, March 26, 2014, the doctor welcomed questions relating to the expansion of the industry in Dominica and the production and marketing for sale of these oils.
These essential oils are used in everywhere. And this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Of course, selling essential oils out of Dominica is not a multi-billion, but you get a fraction of that, and depends on how many oils that you can produce and how much of the market share you can get.
Essential oils can be prepared with foods, drinks, tobacco, and are put into fine perfumes and cosmetics, as well as household products. Mr. Sharth informed the gathering that Dominica was once the standard distributors of bay oil.
I went into my files. I go back a long way, and I found that in my files in the 70s, I had actually ran the gas chromatograph of bay oil and found the analysis. And on it, it says bay oil, West Indies, Dominica, the standard. So you guys were the standard in bay oil all the way back then, and you need to regain that.
At present, bay oil is produced and sold in Morocco and Spain. Dr. Saf noted that the use of essential oils and natural ingredients are here to stay, and we must therefore focus on developing the business.
If you want to have a viable essential oil industry, you now need to rely on yourselves. You now need to analyze the material and not wait to send it to somebody who tells you, oh, you don't have the right material. You have to know what are the chemical components of that material, what are the variations of it, what's the specific gravity, what's the refractive index, what's the optical rotation, what's the color, what's the aroma, what's the odor. All of those things have to be analyzed by you before you send it out. You also need to be a little bit more advanced in the sense that you not just want to quality control your material, you also want to research the material.
The meeting was formulated and organized by former IMF economist Dr. Thompson Fontaine.
But when I listen to that piece, it tells me that when I hear news items on Kyrie FM in the future, I must completely ignore them because they are just a bunch of untruths, misrepresentation. No, there's absolutely no question about that.
These are the words of former United Workers' Party parliamentary representative for the Marigot constituency, Mr. Edison James, denying allegations that he is being forced out of retirement as the people of Marigot do not want Mr. Lennox Linton as their candidate. The story, which was read on Wednesday, March 26, 2014, during a 6:30 a.m. news report of a local radio station, further alleged that the United Workers' Party is looking to replace Roseau North candidate Mr. Danny Lugay with Mr. Linton, who will come up against the Dominica Labour Party's candidate, Mr. Julius Timothy. Mr. James added on Sunday, March 23rd, Mr. Linton was at a very well-attended meeting in Marigot where he spoke with his constituents, so this story is totally false.
The party has asked me to assist in putting the candidates in place, and we've been doing that very successfully. You would know, I think the leader would have announced yesterday the endorsement of our 19th candidate, an outstanding lady, a lawyer for the Peebush constituency. And she's excited, we're all excited about that. We have 19 candidates in place now, and I suppose that is causing some concern.
Meanwhile, leader of the United Workers' Party, Mr. Lennox Linton, is questioning the integrity of those who came up with such a story, particularly as neither he nor Mr. James was ever contacted. In other news, Dominica's next supermodel, DNSM Inc., will host its second annual fashion extravaganza in Dominica on May 2nd, 2014. The official media launch where the models were introduced to the public took place on Saturday, March 22nd, 2014. Chief Executive Officer of DNSM, Ms. Ruth Rhea Augustine, says 10 aspiring models from across Dominica will take part in this year's competition.
The Dominica's Next Supermodel has different competition and different tasks for the young ladies, even up to the final night itself. One being the photo shoot competition. They're gonna be a photo shoot with the swimwear, editorial. They're gonna be commercial ads, so they have to actually get a product from Jolly's Pharmacy and they have to advertise that product. They'll also be judged on that. In terms of articulation, public speaking training, walking, there are different processes for the 4 weeks that we have left before the final night. So there's gonna be fun, spontaneous, and they learn. One of the main things that Dominica Next Supermodel vision is that we are here to educate and to build self-confidence and self-esteem through modeling.
Ms. Augustine noted 2 casting calls were hosted, out of which the 10 aspiring models were then selected to participate in the competition. The young ladies are of varying appearances, as the organizers wanted to integrate realistic components from curvy to editorial and fashion to glamour. They are Shira Soanes from Bath Road, Kezia Scotland from Forbawa Loubier, Frances Lockhart from Vacas, Patrice Alicia Dorset from Marigot, Elena Charles from Roseau, Alyssa Labassiere from Good Hope, Tatiana Green from Maho, Michelle Lorraine Lewis and Melvin Defoe of Maho, and Vashti Vanessa Brown.
What advice do you have to the models that will be taking part in the competition?
You know, it's hard work, perseverance. You have to be determined. At the end of the day, it's not about glamour. It's not about just going up for a competition and you're just going to have the fame. People know you because you're a Dominica Next Supermodel finalist. No. At the end of the day, modeling is a business and you have to take it seriously. You have to do your research because people will ask you questions. Like, for example, how do you keep your skin clean? And as a model, you know, you're in the public. You want to be able to answer that question.
The show will take place in the Windsor Park Sports Stadium at 8 p.m., where they will be judged in the following categories: introduction, swimwear, punk look, professional attire, and high fashion red carpet look. Ms. Augustine says with a show of this magnitude, sponsorship is her main challenge, as to date the show has no main sponsor, with the exception of the Beauty Wise store in Roseau. She is therefore appealing to the business community to come on board to sponsor the show.
What I'm doing is also what I can do. If it could be done better, then hey, we can. That's why I'm encouraging the sponsors to come on board to support, because hey, we could do this international. One of these girls can make it big. One of these girls can make it on an international runway. They could be in Paris, they could be in Milan, they could be in New York, but we need the support again from the public and the private sectors.
This year's winner will receive an all-expense-paid trip to New York City in June, where she will receive a professional model portfolio with the goal to be discovered by top agencies. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.